In March, you saw the largest month-over-month increase in global occupancy, but it's still highly confined to beach, resort, vacation destinations. Talk us through when you see demand returning for urban cities where you have a large percentage of your hotels. When does demand for those cities return? I mean, I know that's where you really are reliant on business travel.
Thanks, Seema. We're actually seeing really strong recovery of demand in a variety of our largest markets. And it's not just leisure demand, which is the thing that's really encouraging for us. If you look at our March numbers across mainland China, we actually were well above pre-pandemic levels of demand, and not just in leisure. In fact, business demand in China was 5% ahead of where it was in March of 2019.
So what I'm hearing from you is that as you see demand coming back, I guess the question is how big of an issue labor, staffing shortages will be for Marriott. I know wage inflation was a big topic on the earnings call. Walk us through your concerns there and whether that could impact this recovery story that the hotel industry is preparing for.
Here in the U.S., in a few leisure markets where we have seen a rapid return in demand, South Florida, Texas, Arizona as examples, we are having a bit of challenge staffing our hotels. We're putting some one-time incentives in place. We're running job fairs. We want to make sure we can accommodate every guest that's returning back to our hotels.
You know, one of the ways you were able to cut costs last year was to get rid of the breakfast buffet, the in-room dining, cleaning services. Are you looking to bring those services back, Tony, to your hotels? And if so, could this shortage in labor hurt your ability to do so?
Our service model is really driven by the wants and needs of our customers. What we've seen over the last 15 months, they really treasured contactless experiences. So that meant reduced housekeeping services, the ability to check in, use mobile key using the Marriott Bonvoy app. I think as demand comes back, as the general populace is higher and higher percentage vaccinated, we'll start to see a slow return of some of those services and amenities.
Tony, I'd love to come back to the business travel question, I guess. Clearly we're going to see an increase in business travel, but there continues to be this larger question of whether we'll ever return to 2019 levels, given that behaviors have changed to some extent. What are your expectations?
It's a fascinating question. I think on the plus side, the continued distribution of vaccines and more companies returning to the office. I'm here at our headquarters in Bethesda today. There's probably more cars here today than I've seen since the start of the pandemic. And I don't think we're alone. I think you're seeing that across the country. So we do think you'll see a steady return of business. The thing that will be interesting to watch, I think it's going to be less clear what the trip purpose is. Increasingly, we're seeing folks that say, I can blend trip purpose. I can combine leisure with business travel. And we think that's a really good news for our hotels across the country.
Yeah. And what is your approach, actually? You mentioned, more cars in your parking lot. Are you bringing people back to the corporate offices en masse at this point? Or is it going to be more of this hybrid approach that we hear about so often from executives?
I think it'll be a bit of both. We've got the building fully open for folks that have dedicated offices, and we are in the midst of transitioning to a hoteling approach for the balance of our workstations. But I think through the course of the summer, you'll see a pretty steady increase in the number of associates we have here in the building.
Till we get there, the vacation rental boom, Tony, that we're seeing, whether you talk to Expedia or Airbnb, the preference for home, how is that helping Marriott's Home and Villas platform? And are you also rethinking the types of hotels that you'll bring to market in the coming years, new brands that perhaps bring that home experience to customers at your hotel?
Well, Seema, as you know, when we launched Homes and Villas, it was really a complement to our hotel portfolio. The notion that for very specific trip purposes, our guests might need a whole home experience. We've seen pretty explosive growth. I think at the end of the quarter, we had about 30,000 listings, and they are all full homes. And we think the combination of the quality assurance that we provide, the service that we provide, and the linkage to our loyalty program really positions Homes and Villas for the future.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.